Hello, hello. How we doing, everybody? Just wanted to say welcome to the July edition of the Max Moments Book Club. I am so excited to be here. Again, I always say it, whether you are with me live, whether you're here on replay, wherever you're watching it, whatever time you're watching it, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking your time to listen to this book club and to what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm so excited. I'm always excited, but there's another reason why I'm really excited, and that is because the Olympics is going on. So I obviously can't see anybody in here because this is a live on YouTube. So it's really the chat is minimal. I'm actually going to put something in the chat, just say hello to everybody. But in terms of the going back and forth, then it's a little more difficult. But anyways, what I was going to say is there's a couple of reasons why I'm super excited, and that is because again, it's the Olympics, and I've been watching. I don't know what you felt about the Olympics, but I have just enjoyed it so much. The opening ceremony was amazing, and with it being in Paris, we've got people that are in the Olympics at Pepperdine, where I work. Lynn Williams, she just played today. She scored in the Olympics, and so there's lots and lots of cool things going on. And so again, I'm always excited, but especially around the Olympics time, it is awesome. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because what I want to talk about today. I always talk about our max moments, and always that's obviously the purpose of this book club, is to kind of go through the max moments book and to pick max moments. And so what I did is I felt it would be appropriate to choose a max moment that kind of relates and matches the moment that we're going through right now, which is we have some of the best in the world, right? Some of the best people in the world competing in the Paris Olympics on the world's biggest stage. And so that's why I get excited about it, is because in the world of high performance, I get so curious about what makes people great. What is the difference between good and great? What is the difference between those that do and those that don't, those that can, those that can't, those that will, those that won't? What is the difference between those that say they want to be in the Olympics and fall short, and those that say they want to be in the Olympics and then make it and live out their dream? And so watching it, it really inspires me. It motivates me, and it gets me really again curious about what makes them able to perform at the level that they do. Whether and you, as you know from the Olympics, there are so many different sports. There are so many sports that I never really watched before, and then when the Olympics comes on, I find myself just being so engrossed in just finding out these sports that I don't know much about, but just seeing these people. Like I said, they're at the top of their game. They're the very best of what they do, performing on the world's biggest stage at the pinnacles of their career, and just being awesome. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to find a max moment which really kind of matched that. So going back to the book, as again, for those of you that have been with me all these times, these book clubs, I said I committed to do one max moment a month in the Max Moments book club. And then what we're going to do is going to go through the 5 sections. So if you remember, if you already do, if you've read the book, great. And if you haven't, I encourage you to pick up a copy of the book. It's on my website. You can go to www.maxrook.com. But whether you have or you haven't, doesn't matter. You're here with me right now. We're going to go through it. But in the maximum in the book, Maximum's book, there are 5 different sections of the book. There's Maximum's on vision, mindset, habits, resilience, and then happiness. And then there's also a bonus section. So really, there's kind of six sections, 5 main sections. With the bonus section, there's 6. So every single month up to now, I've taken one max moment from each of the sections. Okay. And so now this is the 7th month in the year. So we had January, February, March, April, May, June. That was 6. So we covered one max moment from each of the sections. So now we're basically to the 7th month. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the start, and I'm going to start with a second max moment from the very first section of the book, which is vision. Okay. And the one I chose today, like I said, it relates to the Olympics and everything that I've been experiencing. So before I get into the max moment, let me say this. What I've been noticing, we're just a couple of days into the Olympics, and what I'm noticing already is, as I said, just the best of the best doing what they do. And then after their performances, whether they're on the podium or right before they or right after they've won their event or something like that, invariably they get interviewed. And what I'm hearing a lot, okay, there's a lot of subplots, there's a lot of stories, but what I'm hearing a lot from a lot of these athletes is when they're asked, how does it feel to be at the Olympics? How does it feel to go for a gold medal? How does it feel to win a gold medal? And invariably, a lot of the things that I'm hearing are them saying, this is an absolute dream come true. I've been working so hard for so long, for years to get to this moment. This is just a dream come true for me, a dream to be at the Olympics, a dream opportunity for me to compete on this stage. It's a dream for me to win an Olympics, something that I've always wanted to do. And so this idea of dreaming, this idea of vision casting, this idea of, nobody gets to the Olympics. They don't just randomly end up at the Olympics, right? I know that sounds crazy to think, but I want you to, I'm setting us up for this maximum, but you know, when you think about it, nobody ever just randomly ends up at the Olympics. Nobody just falls there. Nobody just accidentally gets to the Olympics. Everybody that's at the Olympics is there because not only are they great at what they do, but at the outset, they had a vision. They had a vision for their lives. They had a vision for what they wanted to do. Okay. And I'm a big believer in this is that, I always say where focus goes, energy flows, but I also am a big believer in you've got to start with the end in mind. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. You've got to start with the end in mind. And so as we get into this, I say this July book club, it's really important to understand we take these little pieces, these little nuggets, these little insights. And this is a big one. You have to start with the end in mind. You have to know where you're going. Whatever journey you want to take, you have to know where the road is taking you. And so for many of these Olympians, like I said, they didn't just accidentally fall there. There was a point in their career, there was a point in their life where they said, whether it's a year from now, 4 years from now, for some, maybe it's 8 years, 10 years. It was like a long, long journey, but it started with a decision to say, I want to be an Olympian. My goal is to be an Olympian. My goal is to win an Olympic medal. And so it started with a decision. And so I'm going to be sending some things out over the next couple of weeks talking about this maximum and talking about what I'm talking about right now. And I say this is that everything that we experience in life, good and bad, but let's just go back to our vision. Everything that we experience in life, it's first grandfathered in a decision. Okay, let me say it again. Everything that we experience in life, everything in our reality, what it really comes from is first grandfathered in a decision about, what to focus on, a decision about what to think, what to feel, a decision about what actions to take, a decision about what we believe is possible in our lives. Okay. And then go back to this idea of dream. It's a decision about what to dream about. It's a decision about what you want to put into your mind and put into your path so that you can pursue something. And so as I go back to this max moment, there is a max moment in this first section on vision that really talks about everything that I'm hearing these Olympians discuss in their interviews about how long they've been dreaming about being an Olympian, how long they've been dreaming about being an Olympic medalist. It's not something that just happened. It took years and years and years of hard work and dedication and sweat and sacrifice and all of these things to get to where they are today. But at the end of the day, it started with a vision and it started with a dream. So let's get into this max moment and I'll piece it all together. So if you have your book, I'd love for you to turn to, because we're at the beginning of the book again, we're in the first section. So we're going full circle. So we're back to section 1. And it's page 13 and it's called Get a Bigger Frying Pan. So if you've got your book, go ahead and turn to page 13. If you don't have the book, like I said, then I encourage you to pick it up. Been doing some cool events recently and people have been getting the books and there's been a lot of great feedback, a lot of positive feedback on just kind of what they've taken from the book. So I really, really appreciate everybody that has picked up the book. So grab yourself a copy if you haven't, or get a copy for somebody else. But anyways, here we go. Page 13 is called Get a Bigger Frying Pan. And remember, what I'm about to talk about, let's relate it. Think about this: vision, dream, Olympics, and get a bigger frying pan. What has frying pans got to do with the Olympics and having a vision and a dream? Well, let's go. So I'm going to read it. So it says, there was a boy who was out fishing at a pond one day. And he was having such a great time and he was catching a ton of fish, right? And then what happened was there was this older gentleman who was on the other side of the pond who was watching this boy fish the whole time. Now, as he was watching, he would see the boy catch a fish, he would pull it out of the water, and then the boy would hold it up and then he would assess it, okay? Now, here's the thing. It says right here, if it was a small fish, the boy would keep it. And if it was a big fish, he would throw it back into the water. So the gentleman who was on the other side of the pond, he watched this boy repeat this process again and again and again and again for about an hour. And he couldn't understand why he was doing it. So finally, the gentleman, he walked around the pond and he walked over to the boy and he said, "Hey, how you doing?" And then the boy said, "Oh, I'm doing great, thank you. I'm catching a ton of fish." And the gentleman said, "Oh, that's wonderful to hear. That's awesome." He said, "But I noticed you seem to be keeping all of the small fish that you catch and then throw all the big ones back in the pond." And he said, "That seems a little strange. So might I ask why you're doing that? Because, usually it's the other way around." And then the boy looked at him and he said, "Oh, yes, sir. It's very easy. It's easy to say. I only have a 7-inch frying pan." So I'm just going to pause right there and let that sink in for a minute. I only have a 7-inch frying pan. And he go on to say, many people limit what is possible in their lives because they only have a 7-inch frying pan. Or when I'm saying that, right, what I'm really saying when I talk about the 7-inch frying pan is I'm saying they only have a small vision. And the limited size of their frying pan means they can never break through to the next level and generate anything bigger than the world that they created for themselves within that small frying pan. So I want you to think about that for a second, right? Like, how many of us limit what's possible in our lives and what we produce and the productivity that we have and the results that we create and all the things that we have in our lives and what we're willing to do. And it's all based off of the size of our frying pan, or as we said, the size of our vision. So the key takeaway here is this, right? Get a bigger frying pan. Get a bigger frying pan. I say that all the time. Get a bigger frying pan. Get a bigger frying pan. So what am I saying when I say get a bigger frying pan? This is what the book says. Get a bigger world. Get bigger dreams. Get bigger goals. Get around bigger people. Go have bigger experiences. Go after bigger opportunities and play a bigger game. And to do that, you need to get bigger expectations. You need to get a bigger vision and a bigger frying pan. And this is awesome right here. This is what I love. This it says, because all of the reason I say that is because it says in the book, we get what we expect in life. Let me say that again. We get what we expect in life. If the boy had a bigger frying pan, he would have had bigger expectations and thus would have kept some of the bigger fish. So let's come back to you and let's come back to the Olympics. If the boy had had a bigger frying pan, he would have had bigger expectations. The reason that the people are in the Olympics is because at some point they expanded their vision of what was possible. Because maybe there was a time like, I don't know if I can get there. And then all of a sudden said, no, I am going to be an Olympian. I am going to be an Olympic medalist. I am going to appear in Paris. I'm going to do whatever it takes. They expanded their vision. They got a bigger frying pan. And the Olympics became possible within the realm of their reality because they had that bigger vision. And those expectations followed. So when those expectations followed, I am going to be an Olympian. I am going to be Olympic medalist. So what actions do you now take because of it? Because you have these expectations, all of a sudden you start to act accordingly. And therefore, they're in the Olympics. And the same is true of you. You will get what you expect in life. Now it goes on to say, it says, having said this, many people's expectations for their life lower over time, preventing them from playing a bigger game. Their expectations shrink because of all the tough things they've suffered in life, all the adversity they've gone through, the many times they've been told no, the constant feeling of not being good enough, or all the curveballs life has thrown at them. And at some point, they lose that sense of wonder and expectation. And when we lose our sense of curiosity and expectation, it limits our vision and extinguishes all the great things we can attract into our life. And why is that? Because we only have a 7-inch frying pan. So my advice to you, get a bigger frying pan. So I hope that makes sense to you. And I would just, there's the action questions at the end. So I'll go ahead and share these, right? It says, how are you currently limiting what's possible in your life because you only have a 7-inch frying pan? How are you limiting what's possible in your life because you don't have a big enough vision? You haven't been brave enough or courageous enough to expand your vision of what's possible in your life. And then the second question here is this: what would getting a bigger frying pan help you to do, help you to create, and help you to achieve in your life. And that's the beauty of this is, you know, I come back to the Olympics and that last question right there, what would getting a bigger frying pan help you to do? There was a point in those Olympic athletes where probably being an Olympic athlete wasn't even on their radar. But at some point, they expanded their vision of what's possible. They expanded, they got a bigger frying pan. And all of a sudden, they're now in the Olympics, having one of the most memorable experiences of their life. And so hopefully you've watched the Olympics. And if you have, then continue to enjoy it. I know I'm, you know, when I jump off this call, off this live, I'm going to be watching some more Olympics. I love it. The fact that it's every 4 years, it makes it even more important to watch it, I believe, because it's not like you can just turn it on any day. If you miss it, you have to wait such a long time. So I know I'm going to be watching it, but I encourage you for this month, these next couple of weeks, just like me, when you're watching the Olympics, watch it now with this thought of the idea of the frying pan and what these athletes have been through, what they've endured, what they've, again, had to sacrifice, what they've had to put in to get to that point. But ultimately, it was grandfathered in a decision. There was a point in time where they said, I am going to get a bigger frying pan. I am going to be an Olympian. And if this Olympics is telling me anything, and if I can share anything with you here, it will be this. Whatever you want in your world, it's possible. You just have to get a bigger frying pan. Whatever you think you can or can't achieve, I'm telling you, you can. You just have to get a bigger frying pan. Whatever is on the periphery, you're like, I'm not sure if I deserve that. I'm not sure if I'm worthy of that. I'm telling you, you are. Get a bigger frying pan. And ultimately, the goals, the dreams that you have, get bigger ones. Get bigger goals. Get around people that can help you achieve the things that you want to achieve. And how do you do that? You get a bigger frying pan. And when we say frying pan, what are we really saying? We're talking about get a bigger vision. And so my encouragement for you today is, as we leave, again, we're at that kind of 15, 16-minute mark. And I always told you I want these to be just these little snapshots, these little moments of insight. Is when we are going through life, it's easy to get caught, just like at the end. It's easy through the nose and through all of the things that life throws us to extinguish that vision, to extinguish and to make that frying pan smaller. Don't get caught up in life. Don't get caught up in all of the other things. Are there going to be no's? Of course. Are there going to be challenges? Of course. Are there going to be things that you're going to have to overcome? Of course. But the reason I wrote that Max moment is to say that when you get a bigger frying pan, your entire life will change. And the Olympics, Paris 2024, is a wonderful example of that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching it live. Thank you for watching on replay. Feel free to shoot me a comments with whatever your biggest takeaway, your biggest insights are. I love doing these. For me personally, like I said, I made a commitment to say I'm going to jump on here once every month for the year of 2024. This is the July Max Moment. I can't wait to meet you for the August Max Moments Book Club. As well, they're always at the end of every month, but I'll be sending a lot of stuff your way before then. But again, just enjoy the Olympics, get a bigger frying pan, and as always, choose to live life to the max. I'll talk to you soon.